Young women should be aware of power dynamics and intentions when getting involved with men. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by power dynamics?
I guess it's just like more of like naivety in young women,
Okay.
and like they can be coerced or like persuaded into situations that at first may appear okay, but then like later on, like looking back, like it cannot be okay. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, just be careful of like the men trying to play you, you know.
So when you say power dynamics, what are you talking about?
Like, yeah, I say I want a provider, but then also people who have like the money and stuff will use that as an advantage to try to like manipulate or coerce or, you know, prey upon naivety with young women. Like,
I mean,
look what I have.
couldn't I just reverse this and women are actually preying on men with money and using them for their money? Can I just reverse that?
You could say that.
Okay. Also, I would argue that I think women are much more socially attuned than men are generally, especially even, like, I think socially women are far more competent than men are, especially, like, you take the average, like, 20-year-old woman, compare her to the average 20-year-old man. She's probably had a lot more experience when it comes to dating. I'd say most, not all women, but most women can absolutely run circles around men socially. So we can also take it from, like, I think women have a lot of power that is oftentimes overlooked in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Okay. But it's interesting, though, that you say that there's this power dynamic of men with money, but you also want a guy to be a provider. Like you said, that's your type, as a provider guy. So on one hand, you view it as you want a provider, but you also seem to consider that an unfair power dynamic. So how do you reconcile wanting a man with money who can be a provider, but so are you saying you want an unfair power dynamic? I'm a little confused.
No, just intentionality.
What does that mean?
Like it depends on what the guy's intentions are.
Like
if he's like not going to follow through, or like, you know,
follow
play
through
the power
with what?
dynamic of like, I have this power, and like, oh, you fell for this facade, and then just like that happens to young women all the time.
So you mean like a guy who maybe puts on an act like he's got money,
like the guy from You.
I'm not sure what.
How he puts up that facade and then he women.
What the fuck?
It's just, you know.
Well, there's one example.
That's an extreme.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying there are scenarios where men, and I don't think you're wrong, where men will like flex on Instagram, oh, look at my watch, look at my fucking supercar, but actually that's a rental. Actually, they're not that, maybe they even lie about their job. Are you kind of talking about that? Like men who claim, or men who say, well, down the road I will provide, but never end up providing? What do you mean? Get this girl another energy drink.
Yes, please. Like I said, like the intentionality, and if you're not like, coercion happens a lot for like young women, or it can. And I think young women, specifically like with the whole like sugar baby thing going on, you know, trying to influence women to, I don't know. I just think it's like a kind of.
I just want to, you said the word coercion a couple times. I pulled up the definition because I just want to be super sure that we're talking about the same thing here. So coercion, the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. When you use the word coercion, is that what you're talking about? I just want to be very precise in the conversation we're having.
That might not be the intent of the male, but that does tend to happen sometimes.
So you're within the context of the guy being a high earner or being a provider, how do you see a guy coercing a woman within this context?
Just preying on young, naive women, really.
How so?
How so?
How are the men preying on women?
Oh, like, here, like, let's go on a date. Like, oh, like, let's build a relationship, and then just not following through. And I mean, that's perfectly fine to choose not to have a relationship with someone. I understand that completely.
Is that preying on a woman?
But no, That's not what I meant. I meant like more so like let's go on a trip and then you're stuck and like it's like whatever. That's
Wait,
like more
what do you mean
specific.
go on a
I
trip
just
and then
mean,
you're
like,
stuck?
Never mind.
No,
Just
but
don't
you
really
can't.
wanna talk about it anymore.
Not your okay. You provided these pre-show notes to
Yes.
us in our thing. Like, why? This is the whole purpose of a conversation.
I think intentionality is important, and
Yeah, you already said that, but I'm asking. You mentioned the trip thing. Look, you mentioned the trip thing. These are words that came out of your mouth.
yeah,
I'm just trying to understand your position. That's why I'm asking clarifying questions.
men can portray themselves as something they're not, and then when you are with them, they can reveal like true colors, like abuse. Yeah.
Abusive.
You gotta like talk
Yeah.
into the mic.
Okay.
It's
It-
okay.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
Let me put it
I'll
closer.
tape it to your chin if you need, but
Sorry.
Go ahead. But
Prob-
so,
Probably she means behavior. You know, when manipulators
Hold on.
pretend.
Seaberg
Hold on.
donated $100. So, are you women only able to be manipulated or coerced by a potential partner? Or is it possible you that a narrative, perhaps feminism, could have manipulated you?
That's a good one.
and to add to Seberg, also men can be coerced and manipulated by women. Like, this isn't just a gendered, one directional, unidirectional thing where it's just all men are just doing this to women. I think both men and women can be toxic and doing these toxic things. But I'm trying to get at the crux of, you seem to be framing this from young women should be aware of power dynamics and intentions when getting involved with men.
Yeah, and I think that's not like all cases. Like there's just like extreme cases, but that's
Sure,
probably more of
absolutely.
a rarity. And that was just like
Okay.
I didn't really mean to go too in depth on that topic, but it was just like something.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying like guys not trying to remember precisely what you said, like guys not being saying they'll be providers but not actually being providers? Kind of, or
No, that's not really what I'm referring to because that's like obviously a choice and like communication's like a huge thing. But
yeah.
I'm more of referring to like specifically targeting young women and manipulating them.
How?
You know, I know what she is meaning.
No. Let her answer. Go ahead.
Maybe just like sex trafficking, for example.
Sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I abhor. Oh my God.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $100. Fuck's sake, sugar babies are literally women using men for their wallets, often promising sex with no intention of having it. Honestly, poet, university has failed you. Please get out of CA and learn.
Do you want to respond to Grid 1 Motorsports?
Intentionality. Intentionality.
Okay, so just to respond to your thing, obviously sex trafficking is terrible. I don't think in general dating dynamics, sex trafficking is, I don't know what the frequency of sex trafficking is. That's a very outlier,
Like I said, like
situation.
rarity, yeah.
but this seems like a more generalized statement you have here. Young women should be aware of power dynamics and intentions when getting involved with men.
Also, just like the sketchy situations they can end up in, basically to be aware of.
Okay. But you said, so men trying to manipulate young women. How are men manipulating?
Selling
you?
dreams, like you hear
Selling
all the
dreams?
times. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Selling dreams. So like, what would be an example of selling a dream?
Coercion.
Okay, but you can.
Like making false
How?
promises, like, oh, if you do this, I'm going to fulfill this for you and this and this, and then not following through. And
That
then
sounds like every relationship in the
Manipulation?
history of humanity to some
Okay,
degree, but
that's fine. But don't
but
specifically
not.
target
But so
young,
give me an
naive
example. Give me an
women.
example of that. Give me an example of that. So saying you'll do something but not following through, because I would argue that like most relationships, like for example, in a relationship, in a lot of relationships, people probably say, "I will love you forever," right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not a legally binding. That's not legally binding
Mm-hmm.
to say you'll love somebody forever, because clearly people say that and they break up.
Implicit _ in _ her _ statement donated $100. Is that if a WMN has sex W/MN, he owes her a lifetime of resources? It's her slavery shit. Power dynamic and coercion is code talk for if I fucked him he owes me money. If not, he tricked me.
No.
Wow, that could be the nail on the head. I don't know, but you seem to disagree with this. That's why I'm trying to ask questions. So you said it was selling the dream. So like how?
I'm just kind of done with this conversation.
What?
I need another energy drink. Like,
Why are you done with the conversation? I'm literally like, you're sitting there back there bored when I'm not talking to you, but when I am talking to you, I'm done with this
and I've kind
conversation.
of already explained it, like intentionality, like.
Okay, but so
like,
what is an example of selling the dream?
Like if you do this, this, and this, you'll be fulfilled. Like this, like they're gonna tell you up front, like my intention with you, if you fulfill this, then you're going to get this, 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 and this, and like, and then not follow through. And that's like, obviously,
If
like
you-
the building of a relationship, like that's fine. But to pray, like,
Go ahead, finish your sentence. Go ahead. Finish your sentence. Go ahead. You were literally in the middle of a sentence and you stopped your sentence. Go ahead.
I need another energy drink. Like I just.
Oh my God. Okay.